Before I forget, this video is not recommended or endorsed by the Department of Defense, United States Navy, and the Medical Service Corps community. Hey everybody, Lieutenant JG Aaron Abreu here. Welcome to the wrap-up video of our Part 1 for the Medical Service Corps In-Service Procurement Program series. Before we move on to Part 2, I wanted to take some time to summarize the videos that we've talked about. If you have not seen them yet, we've already produced about 7 videos where we talked about different topics. But before we proceed, if you haven't done so, go ahead and join our private group, the Medical Service Corps In-Service Procurement Program, where you get to talk to other Mustangs who commissioned through this similar path, or you can also talk to those other aspiring MSC-IPP applicants. Let's go ahead and start talking about the 7 videos. Video number 1 talked about the different commissioning pathways that is available to you as an enlisted service member in the United States Navy. There are several pathways. I'm not going to go over all of them, but some of the things that we talked about on there are Stay 21, the Seaman to Admiral program. There's also the Medical Enlisted Commissioning Program, also known as MSCipp. We've also talked about OCS and other programs and pathways that you can apply for as an enlisted service member. On video number 2, we talked about the MSC-IPP. We cover different topics such as what are the requirements for this program, what pay grade, and what are the different types of communities that you can join in or apply for this specific pathway. Video number 3 is where we broke down the MSC-IPP into 3 major parts. The first part are items that you have to obtain from other people, such as CO recommendation, letters of recommendation, and a conditional release from your respective detailer. The second part, or group of items, are items that you can start working on now. You don't have to wait for other people for this. These are your actual OpNav application, which we will have a separate video for, personal motivational statement, copies of your degrees and transcripts, and evaluations and awards. Then you have your administrative and medical items, and last but not the least, some training specific items if you plan on applying for training specific programs such as the USIS or Army Baylor. Video number 4 is where we heard from 2 amazing Medical Service Corps officers. And here are a few things that we've learned from these 2 amazing MSC officers about drafting and preparing for your commanding officer recommendation.
With it. But I think being concise and to the point, it will be very beneficial because sometimes you can say too much and really not say anything at all, if that makes sense. So it's not actually the amount of words, but it's actually the impact that the statements have, and you want things that are going to resonate with the board. And that's why I went back to talking about, hey, what is the mission statement for Navy medicine?
You're trying to become an officer, so your recommendation should speak to traits that would make you a good officer. So leadership, education, where you've kind of consistently ranked, you've been a top performer, sustained superior performance, those types of things, are important. Maybe like all the volunteer work you did is great for your eval, but that's not necessarily what makes you, a characteristic that makes you a desirable officer candidate. That would be my input.
In video number 5, we dove in the topic of letters of recommendation with Lieutenant Commander retired Mo Taylor. He had amazing thoughts, and he also had some insights since he was a recorder in a lot of MSC-IPP boards. Here are some of his thoughts about letters of recommendation.
As you probably already know, I was a flag aide as well. So during my flag aide times, everybody comes to the Admiral, can you write me a letter? And these are the things, this is really important that folks under sound of my voice need to hear. Part 1, the Admiral looks at the name and asks, do I really know this person? Now, the answer to that is going to dictate the type of letter you get, because a letter is not a letter, which is not a letter. So if I knew, for example, if Aaron, you came to me and says, hey, can I get a letter of recommendation? Well, I know you. I know what you bring to the table. I know that you're dynamic, you're an influencer, and you can fix whatever is broken. Mm-hmm. So you're going to hear and read and see the passion in my letter talking about you.
Video number 6, we talked about preparing for interview appraisals. I know, nerve-wracking. But Commander Marty and Lieutenant Commander Peters gave some great advice and some tips on how you can prepare for this nerve-wracking event. Here's what they had to say. What verbiage or key phrases, when you're looking at a package or reviewing a package, what are some key phrases that you're trying to look for in an appraisal?
Yeah, so man, these are good questions. Yeah, I want to see, what they're saying about this person as a leader, right? As they look at the appraisal, do they, during the interview, are they talking about, do they understand what the, Navy life is and what it is to be in the Navy, right? You're going to become a naval officer, so no matter what you're going to end up doing, I want to see that, right? I believe this person has the ability to succeed in my wardroom, right?
Show me that you want it. Now, if we really connect and maybe we relax our guard a little bit and we go down a rabbit hole, that's cool. But like snap back in when you got to. I mean, there's times when I've had great interviews and, just really connect with the person, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you got to be professional, and we have to know that you really want this and you're squared away. We want to see that bearing.
Awesome. Video number 7, the last video for the Part 1 series, we've heard from recent MSC-IPP selectees. Let's see what they had to say and what questions you should prepare for when it comes to interview appraisals.
As an officer, if you see your peer doing the wrong thing, would you be willing to speak up? And hearing that question, one's initial response would be, yes, of course, I would be willing to speak up.
You were at an HMC at the time. Why do you want a commission to be an officer? Like, what is that gonna? Why do you want to make that transition? So that was one that you had to. That question is coming, right?
Coming into all of my interviews, I'm expecting, the questions about the subspecialties, about, why not stay an engineer, why cross over to the medical side. But one particular interviewer asked me if he were to go on any of my social media accounts, what would he see?
Like why I was doing it and how I would feel leaving the Chief's mess, and being truthful in those answers, like Lieutenant J.G. Herrera had talked about. That was probably the hardest thing to be able to articulate.
That wraps up the first part of our MSC-IPP series. Join us in Part 2, where we dive into the contents of your MSC-IPP application, and these are more of the things that you can start working on now. Hopefully, all of you are learning from these sessions that we are conducting. This is our way, by our, I mean the Mustang community. This is our way of giving back to all of you aspiring Medical Service Corps applicants. So to the future Twigs, we hope to see you soon, and don't forget to like our page and make sure that you share these videos to all your mentees and for educational purpose as well. Again, this is Lieutenant J.G. Aaron Abreu, Healthcare Administrator, Medical Service Corps. See you soon.